Hi, my name's Kath, and today's daily pattern is from Genesis chapter 27. I don't know if you've had a situation in your life or you watch the news sometimes and are tempted to think, like me, what good can come from this? When my parents divorced when I was 11, part of me thought, what good can come from this? When a friend of mine tragically died when I was aged 22, part of me thought, what good can come from this? When I saw the explosion in Beirut on the news last week, I thought, Lord, what good can come from this? And even as I look around Swindon at the moment and see what's happening in Swindon, see the effect of the coronavirus pandemic and start to predict what might happen in the future, part of me wants to say, Lord, what good can come from this? In this chapter, as you read Genesis 27, you may, like me, be tempted to say, what good can come from this? It's part 2 of Isaac's sons, Jacob and Esau, and the way that Jacob, the younger son, takes the inheritance from Esau, the older son. We've already seen Esau give his inheritance away, tell Jacob he can have it for the sake of a bowl of stew. Head back 2 days to Genesis 25, Tim's daily pattern on that if you want to hear a bit more. And now we see a whole catalogue of events, none of which seem like good choices to me. And again I'm thinking, oh no, what good can come from this? Rebecca's involved in the deception. Jacob's not sure it's a good decision to trick Isaac, and yet he does it anyway. There's trickery involved. Jacob puts goat skin on his arms and his neck so he feels hairy like Esau. He takes the shortcut with the meal instead of going out to get wild animals, wild game. He takes a goat from his father's flock. And then he outright lies to his father and tells him that it's Esau, and in fact it's Jacob. And the blessing is given to Jacob instead of Esau. And I'm tempted to think, what good can come from this? We see the consequences of these actions. Jacob and Esau fall out, understandably. Esau has murderous threats for Jacob as a result. Jacob has to escape to his uncle's house. Rebecca is no longer able to live with both of her sons. The consequences are not small. Part of me thinks, what good can come from this? And yet, we know that with God, bad things happen in our lives, and yet God can bring good from them. In Romans, Paul writes, we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. In all things, whatever situation you're facing today, whatever it might be, where you're thinking, what good can come from this? God works for the good of those who love him. In those situations in my life, in my parents' divorce, in my friend's tragic death, I've seen God work. I've seen good things happen in spite of the decisions that people make that are tragic and sad and hurtful. I wonder what's happening in your life today, where you need God's love, where you need God's goodness, where you need God's miracles, and you need to know that God is with you. He's faithful, he loves you, and he can bring good out of any situation.